Hello everybody, this is Tuckless Gaming with a up-to-date guide on my hardcore barbarian Berserkers Rage build, also known as Odin Sun's Rage. So I have adjusted my talents and my gear slightly from my last video. So I'm just going to quickly go over my talents, my rotation, my stat priorities, my Paragon, and everything in between so that you can have a pleasant hardcore experience. Alright, let's get started. So we're going to start with legendary powers. The typical damaging an elite enemy gives me a barrier for 10 seconds. It'll only occur every 30 seconds. This pairs well with my other legendary power, which gives me 38% damage while I have a barrier active. This also works with Iron Skin. Next, I managed to get a GG godlike roll on my chest, and I got +3 Rallying Cry, +3 Iron Skin, 15% damage on my Sacred Chest. If the only thing I would have changed is turn the strength into max health or damage reduction. So basically, we get 20% damage reduction from basic skills for 2 to 6 seconds. Then we get, I got these legendary bracers recently, a couple days ago. Gives me 9.5% attack speed, 11.4% lucky hit chance, 3 ranks to double swing, and then a lucky hit to give me 18% chance to slow the target when I hit them with a lucky hit. So basically, these are also GG gloves. So, direct damage against bleeding enemies has a 28% chance to stun them. This pairs well with this. Whenever I deal damage, direct damage while berserking, I inflict 30% of the base damage dealt as bleeding over 5 seconds. Next, we get stunning a bleeding enemy, gives me deals 26% damage of their bleed amount instantly as physical damage. And so yeah, this is a huge DPS upgrade. Next, we go into the pants. These pants could be better, but that's okay. I get Iron Skin, gives me unstoppable and 16% damage reduction while active. Next, we get well unstoppable for 4 seconds. After, you get 16% move speed and unit pathing. Next, because it's on a two-hander, it doubles the effect of the legendary power. So basic skills give me 60% attack speed. Paired with Frenzy, when you have 3 stacks, also gives 60% attack speed. We already went over this one. Killing an enemy while I'm berserking gives a 40% chance to give me 18% cooldown reduction to my brawling skills, which applies to my Warcry. And then I gain 3 Fury per second while berserking, which is pretty much all the time. And lastly, I gain 6% damage reduction for each nearby bleeding enemy, up to 30%. Now with skills, we'll go into abilities. Frenzy gives me 24% damage reduction when I have 3 stacks. So that puts me up to 44% damage reduction just from basic skills. And then another 30 from bleeding enemies if there's 5 of them. Another 16% from Iron Skin. So we're at like 90% damage reduction. I was able to solo hardcore butcher the other day. So pretty handy. Moving into further talent trees here. We get pressure point, 20% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. And then we get double swing and we max it. And when I double swing, if double swing hits a stunned enemy, I get 25 fury. And then every time I cast double swing, I gain 2 additional seconds of berserking. This is important for sustaining berserking. Moving into the next tree, Imposing Presence gives me 15% more max life, really good for hardcore. Martial Vigor gives me 9% damage reduction against elites. We get Rallying Cry, which gives me 30% move speed and 52% resource generation for 7.4 seconds. Rallying Cry gives me Unstoppable. Rallying Cry gives me 2% Fortify every time I take damage or deal damage while I'm buffed by Rallying Cry. Iron Skin, 1 point. Enhanced Iron Skin and Strategic for more Fortify. Then we move into Warcry here. 1 point. We get Enhanced Warcry, which gives me Berserking. This is how I generate my Berserking rotation. And then I get Mighty Warcry, which gives me 15% more Fortify. Then we get Raid Leader. So my shouts, all my shouts, including Rallying Cry, and Warcry, while active, gives me 3% life per second for 7.4 seconds. So I have roughly 15 seconds of 3% life per second, which is absolutely amazing, because basically when you calculate it, I roughly have about 7 seconds of downtime. Next, we get Booming Voice for skill effect variation. Then we go into Aggressive Resistance for 9% more damage reduction while berserking. 1 point in Prolific Fury for a little bit more fury gen. 3 out of 3 Pit Fighter, which gives me 9% increased damage close enemies. All I do is close damage, so it doesn't matter that it's specified as close damage. Next, we get Thick Skin. Each time I take direct damage, I get 1% base life as Fortify. And basically, this is a really, really important talent for when you fight hordes of mobs and they hit you, 20 times a second. You get 20% life as Fortify a second. So it's pretty handy to have. Moving into the last talent tree here. 3 out of 3 Duelist for 9% more attack speed. 3 out of 3 Invigorating Fury for 9% max life every 100 Fury spent. Wrath of the Berserker. Prime Wrath of the Berserker, which gives me 20% more move speed and 30% Fury generation while active. And while Wrath of the Berserker is active, every 50 Fury I spend gives me 25% more damage on my Berserk. So basically, starts out as 50% damage, then after 50 Fury, it's 75, then another 50 Fury, we're at 100, and so on and so forth. And with my Fury generation, I can probably get upwards of 200% damage dealt. So it's a pretty amazing talent. Lastly, Unconstrained gives me 25% base Berserk damage reduction, or base damage bonus, and 5% max duration on berserking, which is really good for when you're closing gaps between monsters as well. Lastly, don't forget that you can double swing at any time, simply if you have the Fury to spend it. And what that will do is give you 2 seconds every time you cast it. It's if you don't have mobs, it's a good way to sustain your berserking if you have the rage. Next, we're going to move into the Paragon tree. I'm going to quickly go into it here. We got Tenacity, Brawn, Raw Power, Iron Strength, Carnage, which gives me 8% more attack speed, 16% damage to elites from Berserker, and we're going to work onto these and the glyph socket. Next, we're going to move into expertise. I use axes for my dual wield. It gives me 12% attack speed on a lucky hit, and then on a lucky hit, I get a 10% chance gain 5 fury when I hit a crowd-controlled enemy. Double the chance when using 2 swords. But basically I perma-stun them, so basically while they're stunned and I get a lucky hit, I have a 10% chance to gain 5 additional fury. It's really good. Next, we're going to move into stat priorities. So in hardcore, obviously you want to focus on max life, but offensive bonuses, you want to go with damage with basic skills, damage with core skills, damage versus stunned, damage versus bleeding, damage while berserking. This is S tier. So is basic and core skills, both also S tier. Vulnerable damage is also S tier because of this talent here. Pressure point, your core skills have 20% chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. So basically, yeah. And max life S tier. Some people do life regen builds, I don't. Balance your resistances, very important. Fury cost reduction is also S tier. Move speed is S tier. Cooldown reduction is S tier. Lucky hit chance is S tier. And yeah, that's my build. So I'm gonna quickly go find an event quickly so that you can see how fast I move and how efficient it is. Right now I'm on World Tier 3, soon to be World Tier 4, probably about 5 or so levels from now. Oh yes, and gems. Basic skill damage is really good for gems. yes, and lastly, you get move speed when you use evade on your boots. Also really good for closing the gap. I move faster than mounts do. Kind of dumb. Yeah, that's my build. Hope you like my build, everybody. Make sure to follow me on Twitch TV, Tuckles Gaming, and follow my YouTube channel, Tuckles Gaming. Hope this build takes you far. I'm level 63, still haven't died. Been leveling pretty slow, but the build is efficient, gives me lots of survivability and decent damage. It's not by no means is it the best damage at all, but it's still decent. For what it provides in utility. So, hope you all like it and enjoy. Ciao for now.